Hello all, the purpose of this video is to guide you through one of the pages of your non-exam assessment, which is materials and components research. So our objective is to consider what materials and components you will likely make your prototype out of and create a page of research. Now, why are we starting early on this? Well, if we look at section D of the NEA, you get 20 marks for a section D, which is developing design ideas, and as part of that you need to choose fully appropriate materials with extensive research into working properties and availability. If you can hit that mark scheme early, then you can pick up marks, which is what we want to do. Now, what does that mean? You basically need to research and select the most appropriate materials for your prototype, justifying why they're appropriate. So whatever you end up making, you need to have chosen correctly materials. So let's say you've got a product idea, a table inspired by nature. You need to introduce the page with explaining why you're investigating materials. You need to research their working properties, see how easily available they are, and then justify your selection of materials. Now, to begin, I would use this worksheet to summarize what you know about materials. Use the internet, use your textbook. So by now, through your studies, you should have learned things like that hardwoods tend to be higher quality and durable because of their close grain structure, but they are slower growing and more expensive, so less sustainable. As a natural timber, they have an attractive grain structure that can be enhanced with a finish like varnish. You should also be able to name examples like oak for indoor furniture, beech for children's toys, teak for outdoor furniture, and you should be able to identify some stock forms like planks and strips. Where can you find out information about timbers? Check your Collins Revision Guide for information about timbers, and also the BBC Bitesize website's really good, so is Technology Student. To be honest, you can just Google it. Characteristics of softwoods, characteristics of manufactured boards, finishes appropriate for hardwoods. You can just Google these things and find out the information. Just remember, you cannot plagiarize. Whatever you find out, you've got to put in your own words. Consider where woods come from, okay? So if it's European or American oak, that'd be hardwood, or European pine, for example, from Scandinavia. European wood would be more sustainable because it's traveled a shorter distance. If it's a tropical hardwood, for example mahogany, that's a less sustainable choice because it has to travel such large distances and our rainforests are under threat. Teak, likewise, is a hardwood from the tropics. So if you were describing the availability of these woods, don't forget you get marks for describing how available they are. You don't want to choose a tropical hardwood. That would be less sustainable. Think about what you can get from local suppliers. Like, so we get our wood from Jenna, and if you look at the timbers that we often use, birch, pine, oak, MDF, plywood, these are all very easily available from local suppliers. And say that in your work. By the way, if you want to pause this video, please do go back and re-watch things. Here's an example of what the page will end up looking like. So for you today, I would start researching, investigating timbers, and fill out this sheet. And then this is good preparation for when you actually come to do your NEA page. So this is probably a grade 7 or something like that, maybe 8. You'll see how it's clearly broken down with introduction, what timbers are. There's a section on softwoods, and they've color coded it blue for availability. So this person's saying that softwoods are faster growing. They're saying that commonly available from timber yards. Good. The green is the properties. So what are general properties of softwoods? At the bottom here, they've actually got examples, specific examples: pine, cedar, spruce. That's good. And then they've even put some disadvantages. So that's how your page will end up looking in your NEA. If you want to make a start on that, brilliant, why not? Also mentions stock forms. How can you obtain it from your supplier? It's going to be planks or strips or boards if it's manufactured boards. Don't worry about the justification just yet, we'll come to that later. So consider hardwoods, softwoods and manufactured boards. I'll let you pause this video if you want to read up on these things as detailed as possible in your notes. If you've got time, you can look at standardized components. Again, if you want to pause and re-watch this, you can to read this information. When we do your NEA, we may also test materials. We'll come back to that. And just so you're aware, I'm going to skip over this. There are templates. I'll make these accessible to you so you can choose your template option for how you're going to write this up. So first thing for you today write up and investigate material options, and then when you're ready, you can, once you've done that and you've got further guidance, you'll be creating your own materials research page for your NEA. Alright, best of luck.